What's going on? MP Base Zone, Simply Deep Blood of Old Gun, Shelly W, Real Aaron Collins, Mega Old School 76, JMJ 2121, Angel Anik. What's up? What's up? Make sure y'all hit that like button when you come into the room. What's going on, Sonya C's? What's up, Jay Shine? Yep, Bert, another one. Another one. It's getting ridiculous by the day. I'm just gonna wait for a couple more minutes for people to come in. And people are flocking in right now, and it's kind of crazy. But it feels good to live stream on this channel again, where I know I can get a lot of views. Let's see. I'm gonna probably get started at 10. It's 9:57 now. What's up, Water Sniper? One True Self, Dex Hunt, Mister Hood Mistress. What's going on, Jonah? August, Albert, M. Cook, Dee Dee's the best. What's up, Crew Royalty? Now, this one I actually just found out about today. I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes and then I'm gonna get started. Galen, you crazy. You said thought free Willie. And you know, it's so funny. You said she looks like a whale in the event, and what I'm about to talk about happened at a pool. Someone had asked me, was I going to talk about this as a topic today or anything like that? I said I would, but I said I might do it in the form of a live stream. I would have did it a whole lot earlier, but I just got off work, and I didn't want to start it too late because I didn't want this to run for too long. What's going on, LaShawn? Appreciate it, a goddess Navi. Okay. It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Before I actually say anything, I'm going to play the audio of what happened at this particular pool. I'm not going to play the actual clip on here. I might leave it in the link and you can actually watch it for you. So some of you probably have already seen it, but here it is.
Get out! Get out now! There's 3 numbers I can dial. 911. Okay? Yeah, right. Get out. Little punks. Get that
out. Okay, so y'all heard that. So basically what happened was this black teen went to a pool, as you can see in the background. And by the way, this pool, I don't believe is even a public pool. I think it's attached to a complex of some sort. And to my knowledge, based on what I read, he was invited there by a homeowner. So he obviously knew somebody who lived there. That's the only way he was able to get in. and she got upset that he actually was there and told him to leave and that she was going to call 911 on him. Now if y'all look at the title of the live stream, I call her Poolside Petunia. Some people were calling her Poolside Paula, but I said I need to give her an ugly name. Paula just sounds too nice. And I know some nice looking Paulas. And she's not no Paula. So I decided to give her the name of Petunia because it sounds ugly, just like she is, inside and out. Now, what's even more interesting about this is that this woman called the cops on this guy, and everything like that. But it's a good thing he was recording, because even though she called the cops on him, she assaulted him. Like, if you look at the video, she hit him. Like, she hit his phone or hit his hand or something to try to knock the phone out of his hand. So technically that was assault. So she incriminated herself by calling her by doing that. So what ended up happening was the cops ended up coming and they ended up arresting her and hitting her with assault charges. But now, not only does she now have assault charges on her because of what she did to the boy, she now has assault charges because of what she did to the cops that came. This woman got very violent with the cops. One of them, she even bit him so hard that she broke his skin, meaning his skin was bleeding. He might want to go get a rabies shot. That's all I got to say. Because if he wake up and he start foaming at the mouth and fur start growing on him, he start barking like a dog, she done infected him with something. But she did all of that, and she did not want to get shot or tased. Now, what would have happened if that boy didn't have that video footage? They would have arrested him and took her side, and something worse could have happened to him, and he could have been the next hashtag. See, it's a trend that's going on now that, get on the phone, call the police and everything like that. I just actually saw another video today on, I think it was Bitter Truth Show's channel, where it was this comedian dressed in an orange shirt that looks like prison attire. And this white woman got on her phone and called the police on him because apparently in her eyes, he was scaring the people that was around him, even though the only people around him was her and a few of his friends who were also black. Or she maybe thought that he escaped from prison, and he basically taunted her the whole time she was on the phone. And I noticed something about all the women that do this. Have any of y'all noticed that Barbecue Becky, Permit Patty, Poolside Petunia, and that woman I just told you about are all shaped like Rubik's Cubes? Like, they have the body of an improper fraction. Just bad built, bear shaped, you know what. Exactly, Mega Old School and Regina Palmer. What's up, True Royal? They are all badly built women. Like, none of them have any type of shape. Like, they are all out of shape. I mean, they have a shape, but it's bad. It's just bad. Like, I'm gonna use a term that somebody I went to school with said. They all look like chewed gum. Like, none of them look like supermodels. None of them look like somebody would probably pick them off the street to be hookers or prostitutes. Like, they have no kind of look to them whatsoever. Like, no kind of appeal. And it's going to keep on happening. As a matter of fact, hold on, because it was an email that one of my subscribers sent me today, and I might talk about it while this is a topic of discussion. It says that hold on, let me pull it up right now. It says that Bahama Breeze manager fired after calling the police on black sorority members. I think by now, I think we've all figured out that they use the police as a weapon. If people don't realize that by now, then you're just completely naive to how all of this works. Make it old school. You actually gave me an idea of another name I can call. You call her Poolside Poison. Well, I got another one, Poolside Poseidon, because you know Poseidon was the king of the ocean. She's going to become the latest meme, as we all know. But like I said, they keep doing this because they try to use the police as a weapon to their own advantage, especially when it comes to us. Never will they ever call the police when it's on them. And I don't expect them to. As a matter of fact, it was a video I saw today where it was a black guy riding through a neighborhood or something like that. And he had saw three white boys selling lemonade. And he was saying, do y'all have a permit to sell the lemonade? And they was like, no. They was like, oh, then I'm gonna have to call the cops to have this shut down. Guess what hashtag they gave this guy? They called him hashtag cautious Corey. Now, we all know that this guy meant it as a joke, but it was basically to reflect how ridiculous a lot of white people look when they do that to us. Well, you know what? A goddess Navi. The reason why I think I think a lot of people doing the memes is for two reasons. One, because it's entertainment for people or they find it funny. Of course, the people who are in the memes aren't going to find it funny, but the other reason is because lamestream media will take them out of the spotlight and they'll try to make us forget about what they did. But those memes actually keep them alive so people don't forget who they are and what they did. As a matter of fact, the memes and everything got pushed so much on Barbecue Becky, she hopped herself on a plane and left out of the area in what she terrorized. And nobody has really heard from her since. It's the shame, basically. The memes are not just there for entertainment and funny, but they're used to shame them. Just like it's going to shame her, and it's going to shame, what's her name, Permit Patty. That's another thing. People coming up with these nicknames for them. That's black people doing that. Like I said, leave it up to lamestream media. We wouldn't know about this, and because let's be real here, a lot of the stories like this we're finding out on the internet. I found out about this on Instagram because somebody sent it to me in a DM. I did not find out about this on any local news station or any kind of CNN or nothing like that. By the time CNN and the local news station picks this up, there will be another hashtag with another nickname ready to pop up and flourish. Yeah, I saw that they did have Permit Patty up on the news trying to cry like she was pretending to be a victim. And speaking of pretending, did you hear what that heifer said? She said that she pretended to call the cops. We know it. First off, we know you lying. We know that you're lying. And then try to tell that mother when the girl's mother said that you're on my property, and then the Permit Patty gonna come back and say, no, it's not your property. That's another thing I don't like about them. That tone that they use, that tone where they feel like they are right about everything. No, it's not your property. And then they give that little smile, that little smirk where their lips pressed together like two flat pastries that's been rolled together. That I don't like that either. I don't like that. Right, Mister, that condescending tone. I cannot stand that. And it's mostly, you find out mostly a lot of white women are known to do that. But yeah, she got her line stuff up on that television screen and started being a Oscar winning actress, like many of them try to be, and start crying, in hopes that people feel bad for her. The only reason she got up there and started crying is because she was losing business. Business, by the way, that you might as well say she gained illegally, because she didn't have a permit herself to sell her edibles. And I'm trying to figure out, what kind of edibles do you sell to pets? I thought those were mainly given to human beings. I never knew they made edibles for animals. But then again, look at who was creating it. Animal themselves. And I bet once this, like, the woman we're talking about right now in the pool, she's already exposed because she went above and beyond. Like I said, she assaulted the boy. That's one assault charge right there. And then they got her with her assaulting the police when they said that she bit one of them and broke his skin when she did it. That's another assault charge. That's probably where the biggest charge is probably going to come from, is because the guy's in law enforcement. But we'll see. She probably thought because she was selling weed edibles in California that she didn't need a permit. I said, nah, you still need a permit. It's just that you can legally do it with a permit. But she probably felt, oh, I'm a white woman, they're not going to check for me. You exposed yourself when you tried to expose an 8-year-old girl. That's the thing right here. That's one thing I can say about this. By them doing stuff like this, they are literally not only exposing themselves, but they are bringing hindrance to whatever it is that they're doing. Notice, well, we don't know if Barbecue Becky even worked. She was probably on well for her damn self. This woman had an illegal business. We're going to call it illegal because she didn't have a permit. She was selling her stuff on a don't ask, don't tell basis. She said it herself. And now she's losing business. I don't know what this chick does for a living, but I'm very sure that she won't be doing it very long. Yes, Black Phoenix, Permit Patty was selling edibles illegally because she didn't have a permit. Like I said, she was selling on a don't ask, don't tell basis. She literally had that written in her documents. What's up, Dallas Fort Worth? And that's the thing. This woman was selling those edibles illegally for a while now. Like, if you go online and you type her name in, because the name of the company was called Treat Well, she has videos on YouTube talking about her business. Now, let a black person have done something like that, they would have shut down their business even if they had a permit. J&J said that she did an illegal pet smart. It's pretty obvious why she singled the black boy in the pool, because when I looked at the video, it was mostly white. It wasn't a lot of people in the pool, but from what I saw in the video, it was mostly white kids in the pool, and he looked like he was probably the only black boy there. He might have been with another person, but from what I saw, it looked like he was the only black person there. And I noticed, if you listen in the video or in the audio, she called them, she said young punks, but he was the only one there. So it sounds to me she just has a problem with black people. I can tell by her tone. She said young punks. If she could have said young niggers, she would have. And I won't be surprised if she has said that to somebody before, or maybe she said that in the privacy of her own home. Gary, you said what's going on with the story again. To give you the short version of it, this woman right here in this picture called the cops on this black boy going to the pool. She assaulted him. The cops got called on her. She assaulted them. Now she's in jail. That's the short version of it. I remember I talked about this in a couple videos, but for those of you who haven't heard this, I'll say it here. There was an app that was created for people to call the police if there was any type of immediate danger. And I do mean immediate danger. And they said that it was so many people, pretty much mainly white people, who abused the usage of that app that they actually got in contact with the app developers and demanded that they shut the app down. That means the app developers lost money and revenue because they kept abusing it. Like they were calling the cops on people just walking down the street. Like if they saw one black person in the neighborhood, they would automatically think that they were up to no good. I remember it was one in New York where they actually called the cops on these people who was making too much noise. Turns out that people were making noise because they were having choir rehearsal, and it was in the summertime, and they happened to have their doors open so they can get so they could have air. See, when and you know, it was always a running joke back in the day that whenever black people called the cops, they would always put them on hold. They used to always do that in television shows. Quiet as it's kept, that wasn't just a form of entertainment. They actually really did used to put black people on hold. Black people used to have to turn on their white person voice just to hope that they would actually come out and deal with whatever situation was being handled. James, I don't know what happened to that woman. They really haven't spoken much about that story since then, and I can tell by how they tried to not deal with it then. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing really came of it since then. What's up, Wavy J Black? I think we all have been put on hold. What's on Ozia TV? I wonder how many calls 911 gets per day from people like her. I would like to actually see if there's a chart that can come in, like tell, like what kind of calls it is, and what did the people say. But see, the thing is, they probably won't release anything like that because those calls are considered confidential. But I'm just curious to see what's the volume of those particular calls per day. That's right. You would be correct. They all do kind of look alike. After a while, they all start to look alike and sound alike. What's up, Leonard? Exactly, Kabir. Like I said, just bad built, bad shaped, and they probably. Can you imagine what their rolls under their rolls smell like? Because they got layers to them. They got nothing but rolls and fat pockets. Ugh. Good night, Tabitha. LaShawn, no, I didn't see that. Was that recent? Oh, one true self. I can believe it. They do call about any and everything. That's why I would like to know, like, what kind of stuff do they call about? Like, that number is there for emergencies only. That's just like you don't use your credit card to go on a shopping spree. Credit cards are there for emergencies only. You only use that in the case of an emergency because you'll eventually have to pay that stuff back later. But like I said, they have been known to use law enforcement as a weapon against us forever, like since its inception. That's fine, Miss Jazzy. Yes, I did Dallas Fort Worth. So something did good come out of it. What Dallas Fort Worth was basically saying was the little girl who was selling the water, she was doing it to get money to go to Disneyland because I think her mother had just recently lost her job and she couldn't afford to pay for her and her siblings and I guess her friends to go to Disneyland. And that woman, that permit Patty, had to interrupt everything. But the story got out and it got, it made its rounds and people ended up giving her some money and her family were able to go to Disneyland. See, and it's funny because the first thing that came to my mind is that they love to say that we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But when we do, and to be honest, we always have, in comes people like her that will interrupt the flow of everything. That's no different than what their ancestors did to black towns back in the day. The only difference is they're not setting things on fire or blowing stuff up with bombs. But let's not go jump to conclusions because they might actually do that. Give them enough rope, they'll do it. This, like I said, this is basically their new way of getting us in trouble. And to be honest, it's not so much a new way. They've been doing it, but now they're ramping it up. That's why a lot of people are saying that it's more of a trend now, because now we get to see it in real time because people are recording them in the act of them actually doing it. Because when I be listening to them say what they're calling for, and they be like, "Hi, my name is so and so is doing this, that, and the third." Mind you, what so and so is doing is not harming anybody. Wow, they're selling water without a permit. They make it seem like they're. Meanwhile, you selling edibles, which would be considered a drug without a permit. She wasn't gonna say that though. You got this woman mad because this guy's at the pool. He wasn't doing anything to anybody. She came over and did it. And here's another thing: you'll have them outsiders, their other white people that will look at stuff like this. Let me call stuff out like this. Then they'll say I'm being divisive. Why you got to bring race into everything? And let me tell you how I know white people think about race all the time. There was a tweet that I don't know if it was something I said and somebody responded to them, or it was another tweet somewhere else. A black person had responded to it. An incoming white person said, "Why you got to bring race into everything?" Nowhere in that tweet did that black person mention anything about race. Hell, I mean, the word race wasn't even in the tweet. They didn't mention that specific race, nor did they mention the word race in the tweet. And they was like, "Well, I didn't mention race. Like, what are you talking about?" They was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad." They think they know us so well, but the thing is, if you let them talk long enough, they will eventually show who they are. And it doesn't take much to do it. I swear. Trump not only has them emboldened, but he also has them on panic mode at all times. It's like as soon as we say something, talking about situations like this, and here they come. Well, why you gotta bring race into this? Why you gotta be so divisive? Because race is an issue, a problem you created. By the way, you don't get to renege on what you created. You created this monster. Now you're going to deal with it one way or another. Exactly. Or as Tariq Nasheed said, they invented the race casino. Yeah, because see, the thing is, they know to call the police. They see what that has done to other black people. But calling the police killed John Crawford. Calling the police killed Tamir Rice. Calling the police killed Renisha McBride. And plenty of other innocent black people. Calling the police. Well, I don't know if you really can say call the police, but police was involved. Sandra Bland. And it's mostly white people that are pretty much who are always doing it. And even they don't get held accountable. The guy who called the police on John Crawford, he did not get held responsible for what he did. The only thing that they did that I'm glad that they did do was they put his face and his name out there. But ever since then, I can't even remember what he looks like. I couldn't even tell you his name because it was like here today, gone tomorrow. What's up, Vulcan? Yeah, like they literally get entertainment by calling the police in hopes that they will bring harm to us. And then what's going to end up happening is lamestream media is going to get a hold of it. They're going to completely twist the story, get them riled up, and then say, well, they should have been complying. Which, by the way, resisting, which, by the way, I have not heard them say anything about resisting or complying on the behalf of this woman right here who did exactly the what they always talk about in resisting and not complying. And you won't hear about it either. What's up, Hogan? And love like the sun. Exactly, Ashley. You don't see black people calling the cops on white people because we don't have time to be worrying about what it is that they're doing. But they find a way in between their suicide, their opioid plagues, their being always sunburned. What else going on? The women up in Philly dying from menopause, they got that. All these other issues they got going on, and they still find a way to not mind their business when it comes to us. I don't know how they do it. That is like a talent within itself. And that's the thing. They want us to show them attention. That's why they crave so much attention from us. They want us to give them attention. And when we don't, this is how they act. Notice that whenever they do stuff like this to antagonize us, they are hoping that we pop off on them just so they can build a case. And when we don't give it to them, they get even more riled up. Their tone goes up. Their face gets a little bit more pinker, a little bit more redder. It's crazy. It's wild. Faith Green, they probably already doing that. And then they'll get on TV and talk and try to say, well, I didn't mean to do what I was doing. It was this, that, and the third. It's completely taken out of context. Please free me. That's basically what they want to say. Please let me go and please stop antagonizing me. You know, I was about to call her Peppermint Patty. Permit Patty actually had the nerve to get on to whatever news station was interviewing her and say that she was being discriminated against. I said, how? Basically, what she's saying is she's getting a lot of hate mail and she's losing money from her business and things of that nature. I said, well, it was all well deserved. You should have mind your business and you wouldn't be in this problem. By you doing that, you exposed yourself as not only a racist, but also as a dope dealer. Basically, that's what she is. She's a dope dealer. An illegal one at that. But somehow she's going to try to throw that on us and say it's our fault. And they talk about us not taking accountability. They are a funny group of people. I swear they are. Crystal clear. Yeah, I saw the one, the ice cream grandma. That was the other one. Okay, how many of y'all saw the ice cream granny video that Phil from the Advice Show posted up today? I actually saw that video. I think it was last week. I believe Phil probably would have talked about it sooner, but because he was at VidCon, he couldn't talk about it. I think I saw that video last week. That woman right there took it too daggone far. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, it was this old woman who was in a parking lot, and it was a black guy in the parking lot with his friend or whoever it was in the car with him, sitting in the parking lot minding his business, and he's eating ice cream. That's where the ice cream part came from. And she's trying to back out and everything like that, but his car door is open. She got mad at him and said she's going to call the cops on him because apparently he's keeping her from leaving. She stood in the doorway of his car and called the cops on him, and he did everything. I said, that man has the patience of a saint. Because had it been me, I would have told him to start that car and drove off. I don't care if her ass got dragged under the car. I'm like, you got that mad because the car door was open? Like, you couldn't drive out any other way. You was that upset that you couldn't get out the way you wanted to go. That you got in his way with his car door open, and she was like this, like she was that close to him. And like Permit Patty, Barbecue Becky, and this one right here, how did Granny look? Bad built. And I can say that because Cicely Tyson looked older than her and looked better than her, physically and spiritually. Crystal Clear, you talking about the one that's on my page, or are you talking about on Phil's page about Ice Cream Granny? Like, that woman was that upset. Like, all you could do was just simply laugh at that. Like, that was too, like, for me, that was funny. That's probably why the guy really didn't do anything, because he probably wanted to laugh at her. I would have laughed in her face, me personally, because then that means that she would have felt that we wasn't taking her seriously, in which I wouldn't not have been taking her seriously. Like, she got that upset that she called the cops in this guy's door while she's being recorded. I'm almost certain that some of the people in the law enforcement departments be on the other end cracking up at this stuff. Like, really? And the thing is, a lot of them don't even, it's almost like to the point where they don't even mind being recorded and having themselves look like an embarrassment for the world to see. I'm like, you do know this video is going online, is going on social media. Millions of people around the world are going to watch it, and people are going to see your face. People who know you or don't know you. And like, so, this is how you act when we're not around. Love, she called the cops on a teen. So yeah, basically a child, a minor. Crystal Clear, this story is about another bad shape built beached whale who called the cops on another black person just because, you know, apparently they didn't want them around or whatever. And so the thing is, she did that, and like I said, she did that with the intent of getting a reaction out of him. Like I said, that's why I said he had the patience of a saint. And he knew that if he had did something to her, because not only was she a white woman, but she was an elderly white woman. That means that was probably somebody's great grandmother. And if he had pushed her out of the way or something like that, no matter what she did or what was in the video, you would have seen people in the comments saying, I know what she did was bad and messed up, but he still had no right to push her or to drag her, even though she deserved it. But you know, he was wrong to do that. And tell me I'm lying if you wouldn't seen them comments. And he probably would have been hit with some kind of assault charge. Right. She said having his car door open was an open invitation. To who? See how she just hopped her old rickety self over there because she felt that the car door was. So basically, what you're saying is if every car door is open in your view, you could just walk up to any car you want, is basically what you're saying. And ironically, she happened to walk up to the car door that had the black guy in it. Right, Victoria. Their entitlement is exhausting. It's almost like, do they ever get tired of doing it? But then again, I can answer my own question. The answer to that is no. They enjoy it and then claim white privilege isn't real. They say, well, how can it be white privilege if you're broke? I'm like, it doesn't go back to your money. It doesn't go back to your financials. It all goes back to your morals and how this society that was built for you is going to treat you opposed to how they would treat somebody else, i.e., black people. It doesn't have anything to do with how much money you make or may not make. Of course, if you make a little bit more money, your privilege will be your stock in privilege will be a bit higher, but you still have some stock in it, even if you're broke. I forgot. I think it was what president it was. Maybe one of y'all can write it down in the chat. It was a president that said that if we can convince the brokest white person or the poorest white person that they're better than the wealthiest black person, then we got them. Doesn't that often sound like, if you reverse it, if we can convince black people to vote Democrat to continue to vote Democrat, then we got it for so and so more years. I know I'm messing up the quote, but you know what I'm saying. Lyndon B. Johnson, thank you. And you know what? He was right. You had some of these trailer trash, hills have eyes, wrong turn looking people out here that think they are better than, you know, than some of the wealthiest black people out here who got way more than they ever could. And you know why they did that? Because they need to have their numbers. Mind you, they don't care about these trailer apes, as Professor Black Truth call them. They just need them to do their dirty work because they ain't gonna get their hands dirty. But yeah, they like I said, they are funny. They are a funny group of people. At before I became more aware of things like this, all I could do was just sit back and shake my head and laugh at it because I didn't have the words to really put to it. Now I can sit back, laugh at it, and have the words to put to it and laugh some more. Y'all can't tell me that a lot of them people that live in them trailer parks don't look like they straight out of Wrong Turn. Got one eye looking down, one looking in the back. Got three pieces of hair, lips and mouth all lopsided. Got one tooth and just sitting there just talking and spitting tobacco and having yeehaw sessions all night. Oh, wait on it, Water Sniper, because you know it's coming. Beach Becky will be in full effect. As a matter of fact, the first day of summer kicked off 4 days ago. So give it some time. It's coming. Oh, it's going to be a long, hot summer. And Beach Becky going to be out there baking that, son. And I do mean bacon. Looking like bacon. I wonder what she gonna call him for. Oh, this black man, he's building his sandcastle a little too close to ours. These kids they're playing they're throwing around crabs and seahorses and things. They brought a shark from out the water. My goodness. Because they feel that everywhere that they go, they own it. That's just like that's why it threw me off when Permit Patty had came back at that mother when that mother said you're on our property, and she said it's not your property. I'm like, how do you know it's not her property? Does anyone know if they were neighbors? Did they live in close proximity with each other? Like, it's almost like they know each other before this, or they just complete strangers. From the sound of it, looked like they were complete strangers, or maybe they saw each other in passing. Firework Francis. I'm liking these names. It's like we coming up with these names before they actually happen. And you know what's so funny when we say fireworks? Because the 4th is next week. I can't wait to see what they're going to come up with now. Oh, they stole my firecrackers. Oh, he's shooting his firecracker a little bit too close to mine. Wait, I got the same one he did, but why does his spark out a little bit more than mine? I'm snitching. And speaking of snitches, do you know I had the 3rd snitch come to my channel today? Well, not today, but yesterday on a video that I did. I forgot what video it was, but I had screenshotted it, and they tried to pretend like they was somebody else talking about, oh, you're reporting propaganda. And then they tried to do a whole list of the things I was talking about in the video that was supposedly inaccurate. By the way, I pulled everything that I said out of a news article that I'm very sure was written by a white person and owned by a white corporation. And then they said, I'm going to tell and I'm going to report your channel. I'm like, my goodness. And then had the nerve to have a picture of a black woman as their avatar. I already knew they was trolling, and I knew it was a white person that did it. Aaron Khan said Halloween Helen. We got a few months before that happens, but we'll see. Hey, I got one, and it's what's so crazy. You said Halloween. Wouldn't that be funny if they actually had one called Christmas Carol? And we all know that's the name of a movie, but that actually works. Christmas Carol. Oh, Gary, I don't white explain anymore. I think I've addressed that a couple of times. I don't white explain to these people anymore. I just screenshot them, put them on blast, and then block them. And when I put them on blast on Twitter, I have a lot of followers over on Twitter, and they be going in. Street House says summertime Susan, Labor Day Linda, New Year's Tammy, Christmas Becky, Thanksgiving Thelma. It's like we just know this stuff is going, and we know it's going to happen. It's going to either happen on that day, around that day, after that day. I got one. Black Friday Beverly. Walter Snipes at 12 months of Becky bullshit. Firecracker Betty Halloween Hannah. Nah, the troll's name that I think it said Queen Ogress. I think that's what it said. St. Patty's Patricia. Memorial Day doors. Well, unfortunately, we already passed Memorial Day. Well, maybe we could save her for next year. Bus stop Beatrice. Man. Back to school Barbara. 4th of July Julie. Gross Gertrude. All right, J3. I'm gonna see you when you do your live stream on your channel. Lice Head Lauren. Easter Esther. The black man that stole my Easter egg. Easter egg Heather, Big Back Becky, Lemonade Liz. Y'all are funny. I'm in here cracking up like these names are hilarious. Internet Ingrid, New Year Nancy, Pedophile Pan, Football Franny, Hatchback Heather, New Year's Nancy, Easter Ellen. Sean, no, nobody's going to that. Retail Rhonda, Labor Day Liza, Parade Patty, Movie Night Margaret, Hungry Hannah, Nasty Ass Nancy, Down Syndrome Debbie, Grocery Store Greta, Strip Club Stacy, Playground Pam, Independence Day Irene, Big Neck Bertha, Brick Forehead Nancy, Pink Patty, Library Lindsay, Chinese food. Melanoma Melania. Oh, snap. You better hope 45 don't see that, but then again, we don't care. Confederate Connie, EBT Amy, Parking Lot Pam, Asperger's Alley, Barnes and Noble's Nancy, Car Wash Carla, Crazy Martha, Fatback Barbara, Toxic Shock Teresa, Meth Beth. You said Meth Beth. Peanut Butter Patricia. Like, yeah, Lord, yeah, exactly. These names are funny. Like, I can read these all day. Like, this is funny. This is hilarious. Kmart Crack, Mayonnaise Mandy, Lice Hair Linda, King Hebrew just said ugly. Oh, you probably responded to the picture. But Veterans Day Veronica, Nazi Nicole, Heavy Helen, Methadone Martha, Wingstop Wilma, Pink Ass Alien, Trashy Tiffany, Baked Baby in the Car Corinne. Oh my goodness, this is too funny. I gotta start reading these names. Like, it's funny though. Like, I'm glad these are some good names that y'all are coming up with, because you never know what could come in the future. Because as petty as they are, and speaking of petty, who saw the recent video that I just did before this live stream about the woman who sent the police to that guy's house because he questioned them about the store policy? Now that's some petty stuff right there. At first I was wondering how in the world did she get the address, but I think it might have been on a receipt or something. That's the only way I can see how she got that. Yeah, like God is exactly. I can't help it. Those names are hilarious. Like, I'm in here. I was in here almost in tears, cracking up at some of these names. Like, as you can tell, some of them I couldn't even read because it was too funny. Right, like when she called him like that, like I'm sure that guy was probably scared out of his mind. He was like, can I help you? Like, what's going on? Why are you at my house? All over because he questioned the store's policy. Like I said in the video, he probably was never ID'd before, and she questioned about the ID, and he was like, okay, but I've never been ID'd before. And then she snapped back at him and then ripped up the bag, which was completely childish, and then told him to leave and then tried to ban him from the store. All because he asked the question. Me neither, Carlene. Like that was too funny. Like those names was too funny. Those names y'all was giving me. It almost makes you question like what will they come up with next? Like what is the next move that they could possibly make? It's like the minute you ask that and then something like and then something happens. That will actually eclipse what they previously did. It's like how can you top yourself? All right, I put it back up. Galen said, "Can I put the Black Panther picture back up because that chick was hurting his eyes?" All right, it's back up. Oh, you said you was in a grocery store and an elderly black man hit this white man with his cane. I hope it hurt. What's going on, formally? I'm shocked they didn't call the police. I'm glad they didn't, but I'm shocked. Maybe that white guy was always a problem in news. Like they was probably like, finally somebody did something to this guy. See, when it comes to dealing with the elderly, maybe it needs to be another elderly person to deal with it because if a young person does it, like I said in that instance with that woman who got in that man's car, because basically she was in his car, then they'll look at it some type of way. Well, that was nice. She said you paid for his ice cream. Well, that was nice of you to do. Oh, you said it was a young white boy that he hit. Well, in that case, then now I can see why nothing happened to him. He used his elderly him being an older man to his advantage. That was smart. Exactly, Tyrese. We feel nothing over here. And like I said in one of the comments, I said it's not just a saying, it's a way of life. Go sell, you missed quite a bit, but you'll be able to hear it in the playback because I'm about to cut the stream off in a couple minutes. Y'all still going in with these names. And it's like they each get funnier by each name y'all put up there. Like it is funny though, because it's like every one of them who do something now, we have a name to attach to them and will forever call them by. Oh, and let me. I'm glad I caught that. I remember this. Does anybody want to know what the real name of Poolside Petunia is? Y'all are gonna laugh at this one. I'm talking about her real name, her government name. Her real name is Stephanie Sebi Strimple, but she goes by Sebi Strimple. It sounds like the name of a disease. When I saw that, I said, I'm like, y'all not serious. Are you serious? Is this her real name? They was like, yeah, that's her real name. Sebby Strimple, spelled Sebby. Strimple, spelled Strempel. I think the name I gave her is better than her birth name, to be quite honest. Her parents must not love her to give her a name like that. Appreciate it, LaShawn. Exactly. He said out of the Caucasus. Great. Now I done gave y'all her real name, and now y'all making nicknames out of her name. I ain't mad at y'all. Go right on ahead. She deserves it. She and a host of others. And you would think that after we've had these examples of them getting exposed and doing what they're doing, and how some of them have lost their livelihoods and lost their privacy, that the others that are thinking about doing it would not do it, but they'll continue to do it because that's just who they, at this point, we just realize that's who they are. They can't help it. They don't care if they get caught. Some of them are such staunch racists that they don't care if they lose their livelihood. They don't care if they lose their privacy. They don't care about none of that. All they care about is being wicked, which to me is dumb, because being a racist for many does not pay your bills, as we can see by some examples that we have given. Exactly, like what I mentioned that year, she bit the cops. Like I said, she bit one of them cops so bad that she broke his skin, so her teeth got into his bloodstream. That's how hard she bit him. Exactly. That's what I meant, Algie. That's why I had to rephrase it. I said most of them. Some of them, yeah. If they are in a position to make money doing this, then yeah, they could pay their bills. But I know one person whose bills they can't pay. Look at what's his name, Richard Spencer. That man peddles so much hatred towards us that not only is it his own that's knocking him out and knocking him down, but it's also his own that's taking his money. Remember, I did a video talking about how that man couldn't even pay for a shot of bourbon that was like $4. That man could not pay for one shot of bourbon. Like, his card came back declined. That is what I mean when I say racism couldn't pay most of their bills. He couldn't even pay for a shot of bourbon, so I know he can't pay his bills. Shoot, because he also made that video talking about how he needed money. He's broke. Oh yeah, we know that thing down in Florida, we know he broke too. That's probably we kind of knew he was gonna blow through all his money. He just seemed like a very irresponsible person. No, Trump isn't helping Richard Spencer. He don't care about Richard Spencer. Like, I don't think Richard Spencer cares about Richard Spencer. He's an attention whore. and you can tell that he is. I wonder if he's gonna be at that so-called rally, that civil rights rally down in DC in August. He probably gonna show up. And that still kills me how white people saying they're fighting for civil rights. And I was listening to a video that Phil on the Advice Show did right before I turned on this live stream, and he made a good point. He says they're not fighting to keep white supremacy going because it's going to go on regardless with or without them. He said they're fighting because they want to say certain things that they know that they will face consequences for. They basically want to fight to say racial slurs without having to deal with any kind of repercussions. So they're doing all of this just to say a few words without having to face backlash. That's why they always say we live in such a PC generation or PC culture. Not so much because they can't say what they really express themselves. It's so that it's because they feel that they can't be racist and not have anything happen to them. Basically, they want to go back to Jim Crow. Back then, when it was Jim Crow, you could say and do a whole bunch of things and nothing would happen to you. Look at what happened with Emmett Till. That though he was killed brutally, probably one of the most brutal murders ever in American history, and not one thing happened to anybody involved, even though there was a lot of evidence to prove that they did what they did. And that Carolyn Bryant chick is still alive, unfortunately. And she wants to come out, what was it, last year, and say that, that it was a lie. I said, you could have took that to your grave because we all knew you were lying. You just made it worse by saying something. I wouldn't be surprised either. All I'm saying is this. It bet not be no black people out there. You won't catch me anywhere near that. And I know a lot of people were saying in the comment section, it was like asking me how close I was to that, because I know I had said in the video I was 5 minutes from the DC line. Listen, I am about 5 minutes from the DC line, but where they're most likely going to have that rally at, it's going to be further into the city. So I live for me, I live close to the outskirts of DC. Not because a lot of people who aren't from here think if you go into DC, oh, you're step right over to DC, boom, you're near the White House or you're near the Capitol. No, that's not how it works. I live on the outskirts. As a matter of fact, to put it this way, where I live at in Maryland, if I go over the DC line, I'll be near the hood. If that makes sense. So I think that pretty much puts into perspective where geographically where I'm at. And we know they ain't coming over there. Southeast Berry Farms, they not going in that area. The only people that can protect them is DCPD, probably the National Guard, and whoever else is going to protect them. And I don't know how much that's going to do, because if y'all remember last year in Charlottesville, they did not have all of that out there. They were left pretty much wide open. They said we got National Guards on standby, but when you look at them videos, them National Guard people was nowhere to be found. They were not on nobody's standby. They were probably standing by more further away, because how would you explain how people got ran over by a car, someone got killed, and a host of other things? Now, they will have them on guard this time in DC because it's more political in that area. And they're not going to try to make it look too bad. If you know any black person that wants to go to that event that you know personally, just point them into the direction of DeAndre Harris. Now that would be a case study right there. He's very lucky on all fronts to be alive and to have his name cleared. because there's still some white people today who are mad that he even got cleared of wrongdoing, even though he didn't do anything wrong because he was the one that got attacked. But it's still white people saying, oh, why do they keep going after these people? They were actually on code and so upset that the white people that attacked him brutally actually got found guilty of their crimes and nothing happened to him. They felt that he should have got hit with at least something that would have warranted him jail time. You're right, Goddess. He wasn't there. Richard Spencer was not there. He was probably too broke to go. All right, y'all. I'm actually about to get off this live stream. It was fun being on here. It was actually more people on here this time than it was the last time I was on here, which was a couple days ago. And I know I had said I was going to, the next time I did, I was going to do it earlier, but as you can see, it kind of paid off that I did it at this time. I didn't expect this many people to be on. It got up to like 180 something viewers on in real time, I should say. But I'm glad I was able to come on here and discuss this, because I could have made it into a video, but I'm glad that I did it as a live stream because those names were hilarious. And I don't think I would have got them if I did a pre-recorded video. But I'm gonna talk to you all later. I'm actually about to go to sleep because I am kind of tired. Was working for like the last 4.5 hours, so I came straight home and jumped right into doing this. But yeah, I will talk to y'all tomorrow, most likely in the form of another video. Y'all have a good night.